We have a new guy in charge of the video situation, John. So since we left, the rest of tonight's team came in. This is a portion of our team, the really core members, of course, Chelsea, Craig Ham. Wait, Craig Ham. Amanda. And then our second term intern, Kajah Mann. So now here we are. So let's just do a quick circle around. Let's start with Craig because he's the senior member. So Craig's been here for what, 6 years? 7 years, 8 years? Is it maybe most of my life? Since 2013, Craig's been here. And during harvest, I mean, a logistical guide for us in a lot of ways. Like making sure we have a home for the grapes, the right size vessels. And you talk about what do you think you do?
Generally overfilling tanks. Getting told not to put too much.
Trying to get too much fruit in the same.
Yeah, that's right. Running around doing that, looking at barrels, looking at tank vessels.
I mean, it's important for people to understand, though, that when you have an amount of grapes, whatever it is, 6 tons of grapes coming in, you have to select the appropriate vessel, both for the variety, but also for size. So when we've got a lot coming in, and someone's got to decide where it's going to go. And everything's always a team discussion for the most part, but a lot of times it's Craig's fault that, okay, that's going there because it's X amount of tons, and that's what fits in there. And I'm saying, no, I think we can fit 28 bins in there, and Craig's like, no, we can't. It's like 16's the maximum.
But are we pulling Saunier? Yeah, I was like, and then they're like, you're pulling Saunier from this, right? And I'm like, oh. So
I think that's the important part. And then when it comes to pressing, it's a 60-gallon barrel. How many barrels do we need? Which cooperages are we going to use? How much neutral? What size? That's a lot of Euro. Okay? I mean, and those are crucial parts of what we do, as well as lab work. Doing a lot of that these days too.
Yeah, we all wear many hats. We all do that. We all do lab work. We all build barrels. It's a team effort.
You definitely are the mastermind behind where everything's going and what's gonna fit. Because there are many times where fruit's coming in, I'm like, Craig, where is this going? And you're like, I think that tank. And I was like, how much have we put in there before? And you're like, I don't know, but I think it'll be okay. It'll be okay. And that's good. That's great that you can do that.
And so introducing Amanda, who started with us in the tasting room, I think would be correct.
Yeah.
In what year?
2015, I think. That's when I started in the tasting room.
And then worked to the harvest, and then moved full time into the cellar.
Begged my way into the cellar.
Begged your way into the cellar.
We all wanted to, but we just wanted to make sure that I wanted it. Well, yeah.
Sure, we all wanted it.
I
But I think, and Amanda's worn a lot of the hats that Craig talks about, obviously, as is important, but in Chelsea's absence to start a family last year, Amanda to go with the Rosé program, which we were going to talk about a lot more tonight, but I think you should talk about that a little bit, because that is an important thing, and the Talbots Creek Rosé has been so successful, and Chelsea's been running that show. I want to say running, we're all a part of it, we'll discuss this, but someone has to have their eye on these things specifically, in my mind, to make sure that they go where they need to go. And so Chelsea kind of handed that off and worked with Amanda last year. I mean, you guys talk about that.
Yeah, I mean, that's exactly right. Is Chelsea has definitely made the backbone structure of our Rosé program, which was awesome for me because when we found out that Chelsea wasn't going to be with us for harvest, and Neil decided to just put Rosé on me, I was like, there's no way. I've helped Chelsea move pumps around, but I don't know how to do this. But Chelsea, being Chelsea, has everything immaculately put down into spreadsheets. She has thought of everything and anything that can go wrong and made it extremely comfortable for me to move into that position last year, and kind of all on my onesies with the help of Craig and Neil, and going to them almost every day and asking, do these numbers look okay? How is this color? Is this color okay? Would Chelsea be okay with this? A couple of late night texts. I got through it, and I think the rosés turned out successfully. I'm super stoked with how 2020 turned out.
Well, they've long been sold out. So oh, there they are.
Oh yes. So we have a photo of this year's right now in the stage that they're
Can you
at.
roll with a little bit of the different techniques that
Yeah, of
you use
course.
for the two different rosés?
Yeah, so Dianthus, as you can see from that photo, is a bit darker, a bit pinker, especially at this point. That is because
I don't think
Dianthus.
pinker's a term.
It is now.
Pinker is it's more pink.
More pink.
Yeah.
More pink. So Dianthus is really fun. So all of our lots that are most likely going to end up in Panoply and our Spree, some into Code, but those lots are coming in, and as we said before, Craig's often looking at me like, am I going to pull Sangye? So what that means is the fruit comes in and we put it in a tank, and about 24 hours later, I'll come in and open up the gates on that tank and let a decent amount of that juice pour out. And so I get a really rich color from those lots, giving the Dianthus that more intense, richer color. Also gives a bit of a richer mouthfeel. So any of you that have had Dianthus versus Catalan will feel that like texture, that richness that comes from the fruit being on the skins a little bit longer. And then Paddlin is really interesting. So we bring that fruit in, and the difference between Dianthus and Paddlin is that most of the fruit that we pull for Paddlin, we get to pull for Paddlin, for the rosé program. And so we get to pull the fruit in when it is at that perfect acidity, perfect sugar levels. Pull it in, throw it into the press, and we get juice directly off the skins, which is why it's a much paler color. Maybe pale is not the most ideal word, but it's a lighter color. It's still a beautiful pink.
That's a little less pinker.
It's a little less pinker than Dianthus. And tends to be a bit brighter. It's got these really beautiful kind of grapefruit, tropical, spritzy, bright qualities to it. Still good texture, but not like Dianthus.
I think it's important to realize, like, so for the Dianthus, Sangye is literally translates as to bleed. So you're pulling juice out of those red ferments. So you're intensifying the red a little bit, which is where that technique came from. I think particularly in areas like Burgundy, where they were trying to make the reds redder, darker, richer. Redder?
That's right. That's right.
And it's really not something that we're trying to achieve. We're trying to make rosé. So in given years like this year, where the crop is coming in with really small berries and great intensity, we're going to be short of that this year for sure, because we can't pull as much juice because we don't want to compromise the reds by over intensifying.
So get it while you can.
Yeah. Basically, yeah. That's a little different because we're bringing fruit in from outside just for that. So as Amanda said, direct press is easier.
Yeah.
In that regard.
We're not gonna lose. We're not gonna lose that
Sorry to
quantity.
interrupt.
That's all right. You can interrupt.
Let me just
Our
bring in the
favorites.
last person in the group. So every year we bring in interns, usually 2. This year is it 3?
3.
3. And Kasia was here last year, Kasia Mann. She was here last year and she called and asked if she'd come back for a second year. And I said no, but she showed up anyway.
How it goes.
We said yes. We said yes.
I missed you last year, so.
No, she was stellar last year. We all really enjoyed working with her. She weathered the hardships of harvest well and kept a great attitude and enjoyed it and asked to come back. So here she is. So why would you come back?
I've honestly been asking myself that. No, a huge part of it for me last year was like the crew. It was so awesome just getting to work hard with everyone, and the environment here is super friendly and like comfortable, and leaves you a lot of room to grow. So it's a lot of like, you need to get this done. Here's kind of how you do it. Go figure it out. And then like, if you have questions, you come and you kind of figure it out on your own. And I really appreciated that. Just kind of being handed certain projects, even if they're small, and just being able to run with it and then figure out kind of when things go wrong, how to troubleshoot that. And that was huge. And I think I took a lot away from that just in my personal life too. Just kind of trusting that I can figure something out. And it's cool to feel trusted by the people that you're working with. So that was a huge reason of why I came back. And I think last year I kind of jumped into it just kind of by a random events. And so it's cool to come back and build on what I learned last year, and then also think about it a little bit more in the terms of like actually like being interested in winemaking and wine. Last year was definitely just kind of learning it all at once. So it's cool to be back. And get to work with Chelsea, who I didn't get to work with last year.
You have a strong background in kind of all of the things that Talbot's Creek embodies. You went to a Steiner school up until 5th grade. Right?
Yeah.
I was talking about that the other day.
Yeah.
So Steiner, of course, the father of biodynamics. And then you worked for Dr. Bronner's and other ROC certified company.
Yeah.
So you've got a really strong background in all the things that we hope to embody here at Talbot's Creek. So you really just walked in and were a seamless fit.
Well, and it's cool to be around other people that are looking towards that too, and like caring about that, and it's super fun, all the different projects that everyone's interested in here too, and having the ability to kind of play with those, like bringing was good. John in yesterday, and like putting it in a barrel that
Speaking
I
of
exploded
turning.
and being in an environment where like
So
mistakes
there it is.
happen.
There's the Moose Go Down.
Oh, yes.
People
Oh
are-
yeah.
Can we tell the backstory of how the Muscadin ended up in that barrel?
You can tell whatever story you want. So, but first we should tell the story of Moose Go Down. Moose Go Down is Talbot's Creek brought that in through quarantine from Chateau de Beaucastel. It was 13 years in quarantine at UC Davis. Last year we made our first harvest. I think we made 5 gallons,
Yeah,
Mhm.
6.5.
6.5
It's not
gallons.
cardboard.
Sorry, and there's logistics. So this year we brought a little more in, and I've always kind of been opposed to taking the head out of a barrel and fermenting it. It seemed like all the work, and I was at a doctor's appointment and came back, and there was a Muscadin in a barrel with no head. And Kasia smiling. So how much did we get this year?
It was like 440 something pounds.
So that will
30.
translate to
Yeah.
34 gallons.
34 gallons. So we'll have a half barrel of Muscadin this year,
Yeah.
which is pretty exciting because it's, to our knowledge, we're the only people that are actually making Muscadin at this point. And last year's ended up tasting pretty good, I think. It's still in glass carboys, but we will graft more this coming year. And why did we put it in a barrel?
It was a great one.
Again, where else are you going to put 440 pounds of grapes? It's an automatic. So
Well, it's about trusting your interns.
It's a good-
It all goes back to trusting your intern.
The real question is how we're going to press it.
It
Or
is.
it's not buying.
Right. How are we going
Yeah.
to get it back out of the barrel? Is the
really
big question.
Yeah.
Well, we've got 3 large guys around here. Just pick
Yeah.
them up.
That's it.
3 large?
Yeah, well, it didn't.
There's only one, isn't there?
I don't know. Dane, Craig.
Well, and it's not even up to the bunghole, so that won't help.
So we have
Can you say that on camera?
potentially a half barrel, so we could end up with 10 cases. 10 cases of Muscadin next year. Sign up.
Yeah.
No.
You got any
Yes.
questions on there, Ian?
No, but you want to talk about Jewel?
Yeah, okay, so that's a good point. It brings up another super exciting thing that happened this year is the piece of property we bought, I don't even remember the date, but 10 years ago or so, Jewel Ridge we call it. And we've been working on that and getting it planted for 5 or 6 years, and we took our first harvest from there this year. And here's a picture of that at sunrise, the guys up there. I can't see who that is, David? Maybe Pedro, but they're up on Jewel Ridge, and it wasn't very much, but we harvested our first Mourvèdre and Grenache from up there, and it's such an exciting project. Still a head train dry farm on white spacing. It's really is I think the jewel of the property, which is strangely what it's named, but we have a small amount, I don't remember, maybe a ton, no, a bit more than that, right? A couple of tons. 1.18 tons of co-ferment of Mourvedre, Grenache, and a picking tray full of Roussanne. And a little bit of Kumars too. So yeah, it's going to be a really, really small amount of something that's super exciting for us. Me, probably in particular, because I've been struggling with that hill for a long time. I've been so excited to see something come off there. And this year we actually got a full 25 acres of that hill planted. 6 years from now, we'll be talking a different story. We'll have space to keep going. So yeah, that is a good point. That was, for me, probably the most exciting thing to harvest this year as far as something new. In general, harvest has been interesting. It's super low yielding and it's been so dry. We're seeing our yields be down 30% more on given varieties. Some stuff's producing as normal, but most not. So very small berries, very small clusters. So consequently in the reds there'll be a high skin to juice ratio. So I don't know, I mean, you guys are pumping out a bunch of down and things are smelling great to me. Colors look great, aromas are strong.
It's still really juicy. I mean, some of those uprights are still really juicy.
Really juicy, which is cool,
So,
but great intensity. So it'll be an interesting year. It's Jason's been comparing it numbers wise and conversations wise to 07, which we had 07 Grenache today at lunch, which is pretty tasty. So promises to be a good year, early days, but it'll be a short year. Thomas Creek will be at a premium to get your hands on. So,
Well, and I mean, we're talking about comparing it to vintages, but, you know, now that we have ferments going in the cellar, we can go around and taste things that are fermenting and smell things that are fermenting. But even before we really had that going on, we were looking at these numbers. So when we decide to pick, we're looking at the balance of the Brix, the pH, and the TA, or the titratable acidity. And in some years, these numbers kind of shift and vary. This year's the numbers have been coming in really, really strong. So we're looking at fairly low pHs, really great, strong sugars, which is something that sometimes, you know, pHs are a little higher sometimes, and we're still early. We're in the 4th week of harvest right now, so, you know, there's still time for things to change. But even in the 4th week of harvest, things are coming in looking
strong.
really, really strong.
And balanced.
Yeah, beautiful. Yeah, absolutely beautiful.
And we're pretty much through VMEA. We're almost through Grenache Blanc. We're through Syrah. Haven't gotten into Mourvedre really yet. A little bit of Roussanne in the house.
Grenache.
Vermentino's done. Grenache is for most of the way through, or at least 2/3 of the way through. There's still Grenache hanging. So we're chunking through, waiting for the Mourvedre. It's been a cool week this week, so it's supposed to heat up next week. I think we'll see a lot of stuff that's right on the cusp right now coming to the cellar next week. And of course, Mourvedre being the exciting moment for us. That's our foundation in so many ways. So that's exciting stuff. Pinot's all in, right? Low crop of fat, super cool.
I mean, depending on our harvest estimates, so we have like a running tab of everybody's harvest tonnage estimates for the year. I think Kasia has the lowest, I have the highest. So
So we're in the middle.
Just kidding, I don't really want it. So I think I based our.
I don't think interns should be permitted.
We still have to decide who gets what or when they win. But I based our spreadsheet percentage based somewhat off of your number. So we're looking at a 310 ton total crop from the Thomas Creek estate, and we're at 145 tons right now. So we're nearing that 50% mark for estate stuff.
Yeah.
Which is wild. I guess the first part always goes by really fast. The last bit just drags.
Interesting this year to see this lull that we're having right now. There's a question.
What are each-
Lucas Meisinger, that's my nephew.
Oh, do you want me to read it, Neil, or can you
Yeah, I
see
can't
it?
see that far.
What are each of your most enjoyable parts of harvest at Thomas Creek? That was a struggle for me.
Okay.
We'll get a magnifier
What
for
is
next
the most enjoyable part?
Hey, Lucas.
I like the whole thing. I mean, first and foremost, it's the most important part of the year. It's our view of what the vintage will bring. So And I think also for me, you're so fully immersed in it. For me, everything else takes a back seat during this time, and it's what I think about the whole time. I mean, I'm sure Marcy, my wife, doesn't love that part of it, but I do. I love the passion and the immersion in the new harvest and the excitement of what it's going to bring, what is eventually going to happen. And the team, and I mean, the rest of the year, we're all doing different things, and I'm all doing other stuff. But this time of the year, we're all in the cellar, we're all together every day. We have great lunches and sit down and discuss different wines. And I think that the whole picture for me is what I love.
I think for me, it's
Glitter.
yeah.
That's still my answer.
Absolutely. It's definitely the people for me. Because if it wasn't this team, it wouldn't be Harvest, it wouldn't be the same. Like walking past Hammer and him throwing up a high five and Amanda instigating Glitter Fridays and Keisha just being like the sunniest little ray of sunshine in the summer and Neil pulling out all these really
I was the sunniest.
Yeah,
You voted
Neil pulling out all these banging wines from his cellar to share with us during lunch, and all the interns and Boo. Everybody just has their own amazing thing that they bring to the table. So even when you're soaking wet and cold and so tired, there is somebody that's going to be around the corner that just makes it feel so good that you're here.
Yeah, I mean, there's not much to add to that, because that's pretty much, it's the people that make it. Because I mean, you can work long, grueling hours with anybody, you can do it, but if you've got people that are making your day just that much more enjoyable, it's so much more worth it.
And there's got to be, you can't forget the first day you walk in that cellar door and the VMA has started.
Yes.
Those smells,
Yeah.
the smells of harvest.
Oh yeah.
So intoxicating.
Yeah, the fermentations, lunch, hanging out. I mean, lunch and the sorting table, I think, are the two big bonding moments
Social
of
events.
harvest. Yeah, I mean, you get to sit across from people that you work with, and you've got nothing else to do when you're sorting. Is you're focusing, but you have the freedom to have the conversations that you don't have when you're pumping over tanks, when you're by yourself and filling barrels by yourself. It's you get to be with your people at those moments. And so I think the sorting table and lunch are probably some of my favorite moments, because you actually get to find out the people that you're working, how their life is going and what they're thinking about and their excitements.
For me, it's always been bringing in new people and getting that curiosity. Everyone comes in and they're really curious about what we're doing, but I'm also curious what brings them here, and learning from interns to lots of interns, depending on we had a guy that wanted to make gin, and we had people that you can learn so much from so many people. It's that just kind of revitalizing your stoke in wine from their curiosity. That's what I get. It's my favorite part about it.
And glitter, right? You really love glitter.
I really love
Just
it.
want to make sure.
Glitter here.
Well, you guys stole my answers. I do love the bucket brigade at the end of the day, for sure. And I just love being by myself. Doing come overs. No, it's gotta be the team, and just learning so many new things all the time. Because for me, it's this is only my second harvest, and I didn't really have or know much about wine before last year's harvest. So just getting to constantly learn new things from different people. And
How is it different second time around from first time? Second intern. Senior.
The senior intern.
Senior intern, Pedro man.
that's a weird title. No,
Fitting.
Advanced intern.
Okay, I'll answer the question. The first time around, it felt a lot more just trying to stay afloat, especially towards the beginning, just taking in all the new information and remembering only cold water in the ozone machine and RO water in the steamer and just all the different pieces and making sure that like all the little details, I think. And then,
It's kind of fun to hear because you don't think about that.
yeah,
It's
not at all.
just because it's
Yeah.
routine.
You forget about it.
Very much, obviously. And then I think
Red wine to red barrels.
yeah, all this makes sense. And then the second time around, it's cool to like have all that stuff kind of figured out, and like not have to like focus so much on it because it's a little bit more of habit, and then be able to focus on kind of like that next step back and like start to pick up on more and like more details and like all the terminologies too. And then it's also cool to like see or like kind of know how things go throughout the season, even though it's like each harvest is really different.
So you have a desire to work a different part of the business, like not just harvest? Or it's not nearly as much fun?
No.
Marketing.
No, I have figured out that I really like doing, like I have a really hard time sitting at a desk now after having worked a couple jobs that are like, you're on your feet moving around and all that.
I can't imagine you sitting at this.
Yeah, me neither now. So I think like, I'm forgetting what the question. Oh, what's there's a really good example of why I can't sit at a desk. No, yeah, I'd be able to build on that and kind of ask different questions and start to like just get past the like more simple side, which is cool.
Yeah, we are people. I think we're about time. Years are done. Everyone's tired, ready to go home. I'm not sure, Ian, are we gonna do this next week or is it gonna be every other week? What are we thinking?
What do you think?
I think we should do it every week.
Good.
Woo!
Why not? So if you're interested, we'll try next time we'll try and get Jordy and some other members also in here and go a bit more into depth of what we do winemaking wise. I think we got a good feel today of how much we enjoy what we do and get a bit more technical maybe next time. But anyway, we'll see. We may change our mind by between now and then. But next Friday it is then.